Hello everyone, my name is Kate and welcome back to your Big Brother Live feed recap. After a long and grueling 3 months, we are finally at the tail end of this Big Brother season. Y'all, this season has had a lot of ups and downs, but it's not quite over just yet. There are still a few more different scenarios that could play out and a few different ways that this thing could end. I'm excited to talk about it, but before we dive in, make sure you hit the subscribe button below just so you can stay updated as we wrap up this Big Brother season. Even though Big Brother is wrapping up, sometimes I cover other reality shows too, and it's always a fun time over here, so make sure you hit subscribe. Now, let's get started. So, when we last left off, Monte had won the power of veto, and he will be the only one deciding on who to bring to the final 3. It was pretty much always the case that Monte would choose Turner over Brittany, and I think that's the right choice, even though Brittany would be incredibly easy to beat in the end. Turner just has a higher chance of staying loyal to Monte than Brittany does, full stop. Now, Brittany has been trying a little bit to get Monte to keep her, but there's really no use. It ain't happening. I believe we're going to see the veto ceremony play out live on Thursday, and after that, we should see Brittany walking out the door. Monte, Taylor, and Turner have all been aligned as a final 3 for quite some time now, and it looks like that wish is going to be coming true. Monte and Taylor were especially solid since they started hooking up and whatnot, but this past week there has been trouble brewing in paradise. In case you missed it, Monte and Taylor have been butting heads a lot recently. First, it was the stupid incident over a pair of headphones. Monte had fallen asleep in Taylor's HOH bed listening to her music, and Taylor grabbed the headphones back from him in a snarky yet teasing sort of way.
Give me those. Damn. Not
Taylor.
both. Not both.
Taylor.
I didn't mean to take the sunglasses. Sorry. That's
Holy moly.
That is a way to wake up.
my bad. Go back to sleep.
Now, while I can understand this incident being kind of annoying, like being woken up out of your sleep and whatnot, to me, it's really not that deep, right? The second incident involved Monte making a comment about seeing his goddaughter for the past year and Taylor commenting on it.
Can't believe I have witnessed a human be alive for a year. Like
Well, you haven't, but...
Oh, I haven't witnessed, but...
And this moment really struck a chord with Monte. He was so freaking pissed off that he had some harsh words for Taylor later.
That's the tone that you said it, the timing, the delivery, the information. It's obvious, so it's unnecessary to say. The tone is very condescending, as if like, wait, let me let you know something that you clearly don't know. You haven't seen that person the past 3 months. Condescending. Of course I know that. That's a very obvious statement. So all of that combined makes for a very insensitive and rude thing to say. That's the formula for it.
This conversation goes on for over an hour, and it's pretty much just full of Monte making these kind of condescending remarks about Taylor. He calls her rude, disrespectful, cold, and a host of other insults.
You have a capability to be more warm, you know, and not so cold and not so tone deaf to sensitive things or rude or joking. Like, I know that that's not you all the time.
Just so you know, he has been doing this pretty much all season long behind her back, but this time at least he's doing it to her face so that she can see the real him.
Obvious and just poor tone, you know, like I just don't think that I deserve to be spoken to about or spoken to that way. And especially when it comes to people I care about.
Monte even goes as far as to bring up the mistreatment and bullying she faced in week 1 and 2 and use this comment to sort of justify that. And he continues to talk about how he doesn't deserve to be treated like this and all this stuff. Like, this guy is just so full of it. And honestly, he seems way too insecure in himself to be with a girl as confident as Taylor, okay? Like Monte was really saying that he liked Taylor's attitude when she was on the block better because she acted softer. Like, ew. During this conversation, Taylor is just super apologetic the whole time and even cries and gets really vulnerable at one point. As always, she's being a great listener and really showing Monte more grace than he deserves right now. I'm just really hoping that after the show, she doesn't internalize the stuff too much and she doesn't consider herself a bad person. Because it is her kindness and her acceptance that have gotten her this far in the game, even when she came in with the cards stacked so much against her. Since this whole conversation ended, Monte and Taylor have since kind of made up and even hooked up again, but it's still very much tense and awkward in between those two. So now that we are done with the housekeeping, let's move on to talk about this final 3. Traditionally, the final HOH competition is played in 3 parts. The first 2 parts are usually physical, with one having some mental stuff thrown in, and the third part is just usually a straight up mental quiz comp. They've been doing the final HOH this way for a while now, and if the tradition continues, which I'm guessing it will, then I think that Turner is the least likely person to win this final HOH. Turner doesn't really study as much as the other house guests or knows his days, so even if he does win part 1 or 2 of the competition, I can see him falling short when it gets to part 3. On the contrary, Monte and Taylor have both been studying a lot more and they just seem to be more prepared overall when it comes to the part 3. Of course, I'm just speculating here, so hey, Turner could win, but I do think that he is the least likely. If Monte or Taylor do win the final HOH, I do think that they will take each other to the end with them, even though they have been bickering recently. I guess there's a small chance that Taylor takes Turner, but I really don't see it happening. I do think that Monte will definitely take Taylor because he seems to think that she has 0 chance of winning, but I'm not so sure about that. We haven't gotten too much jury footage so far at the time of this recording, but if I was a betting woman, I'd wager that Taylor wins against Monte. Ever since Taylor's unfair treatment at the beginning of the game, we've seen her extend grace and kindness to those who have not done the same to her. I really do think that it's her social game, her kindness and amiability that has allowed her to make it this far into the game. And I think that most of the other jurors will see that too. I think that the ladies will probably all vote for Taylor, Indy, Jasmine, Alyssa, and Brittany. I also think that Michael and Joseph are very likely to vote for Taylor in that scenario. The only ones that I don't think have her vote are Terrance and maybe Kyle and Turner. But either way, that would be enough for Taylor to take the W. Which means that through it all, I think that we are most likely going to see Taylor win this game. Of course, this is all speculation, but I really do hope this comes true. It would really make this season come full circle and it would be so fitting. To me, the darkest timeline would be a Monte and Turner final 2 because I do think Monte will probably win against Turner. Which is fine, I guess. I don't know. I'm strongly of the opinion on whoever the jury votes for is the person who deserves to win, even if it's the person you don't like. In this case, would I like for Monte to win this game? Hell nah. I definitely prefer it to be Turner, but hey, if the jury looks at the game and they think Monte is the winner, then that's it, I guess. But of course, I'm interested to know, what do you all think? Who do you think will be in those final 2 chairs? And especially, who do you want to see take it all home and win the game? Let me know in the comments below. At this point, I think Taylor beats anybody she sits next to in the final 2. She just has to make it there. I'm hoping the cards will be in her favor, but we will just see how they fall on Sunday. Of course, I will let you all know if there are any new developments, but until then, I will talk to you all next time. Peace.